Supreme greed or sound logic? That's what I want you to decide. Hi, my name's Nick. I run a company. We sell magic cards, and by we, I mean me, and did 6 figures in sales last year, which is pretty good, which you might be surprised with how little money it takes to pull that off. But anyways, here, let's talk about the greatest success of the year so far when it comes to kind of collectors and dirty flippers and scalpers, which is the Strixhaven, Secrets of Strixhaven collector booster boxes, selling right now on TCG Player for a nice clean $485 plus tax, as Rudy likes to say. There's been a lot of these things sold. People are very excited about them. People are excited about their mystical archives, opening it up like crazy, and it's keeping a high price. What's interesting is that, of course, pre-release prices were higher. They're around the $550 mark. And then it drops down once release happened, which is actually this bar that I'm now hovering over, is the drop in release down sub 500, and I think it got down to like 450, but then it shot back up. And so here we are at the kind of upper 400s, pretty well poised to potentially reach 500s. I actually don't think it will. This is one of my successful predictions. I did predict that Secrets of Strixhaven collector boxes would be over 400 at release. I predicted that they would go below their like inflated 550 price at release. And so we're so far following the Nick train of predictions pretty well. But as you'll see later in the video, I get much less confident as we go further into the future. These were cool. These were cool, and these were a success. And by that, what I mean is I was able to buy these for like $325 each from stores. From, I think it's like Escape TCG had an online store, and I was able to buy a bunch of these for, less than $350 each. And then release day comes, and boom, you're able to flip these. And I was lucky enough to have friends that I could offload these onto, where I actually sold these for like around $430 each, which you're like, what? Why'd you sell it for $430? Because they're selling for like $480. And the answer to that is I didn't know they're going to sell for $480. And I also don't know what they're going to sell for tomorrow. And honestly, the price could go down more. And also avoiding shipping different people and fees and taxes and whatever. Anyways, I'm very happy to have just flipped these and got to make good money. And now it's really on to the next thing, which the next thing is Marvel superheroes. Check this out. Man, it is so unfortunate. Can I zoom in on this? It is so unfortunate that the art for, so the Iron Man's knee has like a dark color here, and it makes Storm look like she has like an extended chin from a distance. And that is so unfortunate. But, besides the aesthetics, the question is, how are these Marvel superhero boxes going to do? These collector booster boxes. We've gotten a few spoilers. Check these out. I mean, these are interesting. I'm not going to go through them one by one right now, but there's some interesting cards, and honestly some cards that I think already kind of signal that this is going to be a better, more interesting set than Spider-Man. That's obviously the number one comparison. Spider-Man came out and it was not a successful Magic the Gathering set from an investor collector perspective. It came out for a much higher price than what it was selling for at release, and then the price continued to drop. And we're talking, people were pre-ordering those Spider-Man collector booster boxes for, what do you know, like 500, 600, kind of like what these Marvel superhero boxes are going for right now. Not to draw a comparison, although it is to draw a comparison, right? The point is that people are comparing these Marvel superhero boxes to Spider-Man and thinking to themselves, is this going to be another dud? There's a couple reasons why I do not think it will be a dud. One is that they've already spoiled some card quality that is already much more interesting than Spider-Man. Also, these comic cards are really interesting, and I know they have stuff like this in Spider-Man, but I don't know. To me, these kind of ring truer, if that makes sense, to kind of comic books and interest. I guess part of the deal is that it's not just Spider-Man on every single card. There's some variety here. So all this is kind of superficial, though, right? The real question, like, what are some real kind of facts that would determine the success of this set? Well, I like am I going to mention him every single video I do? But I like the Kitchen Table TCG thesis about set size. The Marvel Superheroes set size is anticipated to be large, 300 plus cards, similar to Final Fantasy, similar to Modern Horizons 3, similar to every other summer set, which, speaking of, this is the summer set. This is the grand release, which last year was Final Fantasy. So there's a comparison to draw. Is this going to perform like Final Fantasy? For those of you who weren't around, Final Fantasy, if you wanted to pre-order those collector booster boxes, you had to fork over like 6 Benjamins. I mean, it was expensive. Similar to what it takes to pre-order Marvel Superheroes, not to draw the comparison. But, there was high demand for Final Fantasy, but it was real. It was real. And now we see the Final Fantasy collector booster boxes have just spiked. I mean, let's do just a quick price check. Price check, aisle 5. Final Fantasy collector booster display. $11.84. Okay, great. Another easy tendies, although mine, I got one on a shelf behind me. I'm actually still holding on to these. Not sure why. Well, I am sure why. I think they're going to go up more, but the Nick, why did you sell Secrets of Strixhaven if you think those are going to go up more? Yeah. So, anyways, Marvel Superheroes. We've got a okay looking box. We've got okay looking cards. We've got an okay plus looking set size. And we've got a history of summer sets being successful, of Final Fantasy being successful, that kind of goes with it. And so, one question you might be asking is, can we get these for cheaper than $600? And to that, I would say yes. If you go to Forge and Fire right now, you can pre-order one of these bad boys, maximum purchase 1 unit. You can pre-order one of these things for $455. I think I'm going to do that. But then the question is, how many more of these things do I want to get? And that's where I want to have the kind of real heart-to-heart talk, because at what point is it technical, careful analysis that drives an investment making decision, and at what point is it just greed? Because on one hand, I feel like I knew what I was doing with Strixhaven collector booster boxes and that kind of play, but on the other hand, I got lucky, right? At the end of the day, what really controls the price is the supply. If there are a ton of these things, it's not going to be good for the investors, flippers, speculators. If there aren't very many of these things, it almost doesn't matter how bad the set is. If there's low enough supply, the price will be high. And, we could map that out. I'm not going to right now, but you can get out the economics graph and the supply demand curves with the price and quantity demanded, and you can map that out. But if the supply is low enough, the price is going to be high. And so the X factor, the thing you got to get a little lucky on, is the supply. Now, with a set like Final Fantasy, you didn't have to get lucky on the supply. The demand was so strong that even though Wizards printed many, many of these things of all the products for Final Fantasy, the demand was so strong, it got bought up. And the question is that going to happen with Marvel Superheroes? Is the demand there? Now, it's been a while since Marvel Superheroes had the limelight, right? For those of you who don't know, although I think almost everybody does, is that Marvel superhero movies were the money cash cow making machine of the 2010s, where every movie was profitable and successful. And that kind of ended with Avengers Endgame, where that was one of the most successful movies of all time. And since then, the Marvel superhero movies have not been that successful. Many of them have lost a lot of money, drawn a lot of criticism. A lot of these movies have gone not straight to streaming. They did hit theaters, but, well, actually, there are series that have gone straight to streaming too. Disney Plus is actually one of the kind of lost, I'm going to call it a lost leader, but that's not right, because it's not actually leading you to buy other Disney products. It's just a lost loser. It's just Disney is not making the return that they really wanted to with Disney Plus. And it's actually kind of been the bane of the company, where their theme parks are doing better, but their media, the actual shows and movies and things that are coming out with specifically on Disney Plus are not drawing in the subscribers that they need to kind of be growing and making stockholders happy. Bill Iger, the CEO of Disney, was a legend until he came back, and Disney Plus is kind of like, just hurt his career. We all feel bad for the rich CEOs. We do. And so it's just interesting. This is all just to say that Marvel, as Disney owns it, as the superhero movies, have not been a successful pop culture thing in like 6+ years. And so it makes you wonder, are there true fans of Marvel out there? And what my hypothesis is, my estimation is yes, there are. I think similar to Final Fantasy, similar to Lord of the Rings, there are just so many nerds that enjoy the intellectual property of superheroes, of Captain America and Iron Man and the X-Men and, whatever other characters there are inside of this superhero set. I think that Marvel superheroes is so wide, right? There's just so many superheroes, so many interesting, things to attract the eyes and the wallets of fans, of nerds, that I think this is going to be an incredibly successful product. I think it's going to be successful similar to how Final Fantasy was successful. I think that it is a great buy at $450. I don't know if it's a great buy at $600. I don't know. I guess I'll stay tuned. But as long as I can pick up onesie twosie boxes from these different big stores at sub $600, I'm going to be pretty happy doing that. But I think I might end up buying some closer to $600 too. So that is the plan. Like until things change, my plan is to take the money that I've made from Strixhaven and reinvest it right into the next flipper play, which I believe is going to be these Marvel Superheroes collector booster boxes. Even at these high prices, I could just see, I can see them having similar hype to Final Fantasy and getting to 4 digits, getting to the $1,000 by the time there's release or even shortly after release. That is how I'm feeling right now. Now, could things change? Sure. Like spoilers come out, things like that. What's interesting though is the best prices you can get are pre-spoilers, are like I showed you right now, where you can pre-order one box from Forge and Fire for $455.88. You have to take the risk, if you're really going to try to maximize the margins, maximize the greed, you've got to invest your money before people know if it's a good set or not. That's what it was for Strixhaven. I pre-ordered almost all my boxes before they released most of the spoilers. And what do you know? It came out, the spoilers came out, it was a great set. It turned out to be a great buy. It made me good money. Will the same thing happen with Marvel? I don't know, but I think it will. And I'm going for it. And so, you should do whatever makes sense for you. But that's my plan. So anyways, thanks for watching and tuning in and subscribe. We'll see you.